I, 58 female, have cancer. I'll be leaving behind about $2 million and have decided to take one last vacation and give the rest to charity. My husband, Bill, 66, is in good health, but he will be set financially and we've decided together that he doesn't need the money. I have a daughter, Amity, 29, and a son, Caleb, 24. She has 3 kids, teen and infant twins, and Bill thinks I should leave her half the money. He says she could use it, which would still amount to $1 million for charity. However, I don't want to give my daughter the money. She had her son at 15, and because she was in high school, Bill and I raised him until he was 7. We also paid for Amity's college. My reasoning is that we've already given her childcare for 7 years and college, so she has already received the payout from us, even though I was alive and well. Though it seems Bill already told Amity we'd help her out and she was getting half of the inheritance, so I had to correct her and tell her I'm not giving her or her brother any money. This has been blowing up the family. Amity was furious because she said she was in a bad financial place and she couldn't believe I wasn't helping her out even though I could. Bill understands where I'm coming from but says Amity is living in a trailer and I could at least help her out. I already did help her, but am I the idiot if I don't include her in the will? Edit to clarify, Bill will leave everything to the children and grandchildren when he passes. Caleb hasn't done anything, but they will both be getting money. You are the idiot. You really resent your daughter for getting pregnant so young. She made a mistake. She didn't rob a bank. Also, I'm guessing that you didn't ask yourself any hard questions about why she got pregnant, throwing her life away at that age. Chances, and big chances, are that you and your husband had a role in that mistake. Exactly. OP and her hubby are well off to some degree. $2 million is a lot, and OP's husband still has more money too. But their daughter is living in a trailer? Trailer? With 2 twin babies and another teenage child? That's horrible. Shameful, honestly, for the grandparents to be okay with this. No info from OP about what happened to her daughter. Why is she in a trailer? Did she do something that made OP resent her? Honestly, I can't imagine raising kids and hating them so much. I'd rather give away all my money to strangers. OP has not shared 100% of the story with us. OP, when a kid has a kid, it's not the kid's fault, or at least not mostly. It's a parenting failure to not provide birth control, preferably long-term, guidance, and some coaching on how to handle pressure in a relationship. At the very least, it was your choice to keep and raise the kid rather than adopt, place with a family, place with the father's family, etc. So you screwed her over when she was a teen, but at least you did pay for college and stepped up to raise your grandson. And why are you not, at the very least, putting in trust funds for the grandkids? Even if you didn't care about what happens to Amity, what about your grandbabies? Are they supposed to pay for her, not to make you happy? And what about OP's son? What the heck did Caleb ever do? He did nothing wrong but still get shafted. Also, is Bill these children's father or not? You seem to weirdly dance around ever establishing that with your word choice. OMG, lady, do you even like your kids? She has $2 million and her daughter lives in a trailer. The answer is no. OP, you have the opportunity to ensure your daughter, son and grandkids have a financially secure future in a climate where things are hard and getting harder. You're keeping a scorecard of previous parenting, patting yourself on the back and considering your parenting done. Ultimately, it's your money and your decision. I just think it's the wrong one. You know what? 5 years ago, my son, whom I love to the ends of the earth and back at his wife's request, took our 2 precious and only grandchildren and walked out of their lives. Abandoned us. No address, no phone calls, no texts. No birthdays, no Christmases. No messages to his grandparents. Long, deep, ugly, painful silence. From the kid we loved, sheltered and supported with every drop of our being for 28 years. Do you know how many people told us to cut them out of our will? I lost count, but I refuse. This kid is the heart of my heart, love of my life. He always will be, and I refuse to take the low road and treat him or his family badly. In the end, love is love. And that's the only thing I can take with me. He will know he was loved if he never says another word to me. I have a boyfriend, Aidan. For some reason, he really dislikes his best friend's, Daniel's, girlfriend, Lila. I don't exactly get the reason for his dislike. My guess is that Aidan and Daniel were kind of outcasts in high school, and Aidan adapted this us against the worldview with his only friend. On the other hand, Lila is a vivacious, outgoing, bubbly girl with many friends. Aiden's newest reason to dislike Lila is that Daniel plans to take her on an all-expenses-paid trip abroad. He was ranting to me about Lila being a gold digger and using Daniel for his money. I tried to tell him that Daniel taking his girlfriend on vacation doesn't make said girlfriend a gold digger, but Aiden couldn't be reasoned with. It bothered me so much, especially since my family took Aiden on countless vacations, free of charge when we were still in university. 15+ vacations, mostly to different countries. I pointed out to Aiden that he came on plenty of vacations with my family and me, but he said that was different because he only came for me, so I had more fun with him there with me, and we built shared memories. I asked him why is what Daniel and Lila are doing any different. Daniel can afford to take Lila with him, he will still have more fun with her there and make wonderful shared memories. If that makes Lila a gold digger, he must be a gold digger too by his own standards. Aiden got mad at me and said he was extremely disappointed and hurt that I looked at him like that. He got really offended and now seems to think I actually accused him of being a gold digger instead of just trying to show him the error of his reasoning. Why was I wrong for trying to draw a parallel between him and Lila? I didn't want to make him feel bad for coming with us on those vacations. I loved having him there. Do I owe him an apology? Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your argument is sound and Aiden is turning it around on you because he's embarrassed he got caught out with his faulty and misogynistic logic. This antipathy towards Lila is quite worrying though. Either there's something about her that you don't know or, and I hate to be one of those people, but do you think he's possibly overcompensating? In my opinion, there's more to this than meets the eye. I think you're onto something here. In my opinion, he seems jealous that Daniel is taking the girlfriend over him. The whole thing was setting off red flags. Sounds like he's trying to isolate his friend and then automatically turning himself into the victim. I only went on those vacations for you, and flipping it around to how hurt he is that she would even suggest such a thing about him. I have some questions and concerns beyond the scope of the discussion here. I, 52 male, married my wife Angela, 42, 20 years ago. She had a 4-year-old daughter, Sam. Angela and I had 3 more biological children, but I always treated Sam as my child. Sam's bio dad was a deadbeat. He had visitations but never showed up. This of course affected Sam, so Angela and I put her in therapy. I always had a good relationship with Sam and she always called me Dad. Sam's long-term boyfriend proposed to her in 2019 and in 2020 they got married, and that's when things went downhill. Sam's bio dad contacted her because he'd heard she would get married. She started to disinvite me for things in favour of her bio dad, and she uninvited me from her wedding. Angela and our children got mad, but I asked them not to. As you might expect, my and Sam's relationship is different from what it used to be. Almost 3 years after the wedding, her dad returned to his old ways. I've been cordial but cold to her. I don't refer to her as my child anymore and she's noticed it. She tried to talk to me, but I told her I have my boundaries and she needs to respect them. Yesterday it was Angela's birthday. I made a toast to her and gave her a little speech about our 3 children and us. Sam started crying and asked why I needed to keep excluding her and that she had apologized and she regrets it. She left soon after, but I've not stopped to think about what happened. My children say I'm not the idiot. Angela says I should at least talk to her. You are the idiot. I understand why you would feel this way, but it's petty. Do you really want to spend the rest of your life alienating a young woman you've loved most of her life because she made a mistake? Unfortunately, a lot of young people act like this when their absent parent comes back into their lives. And she learned the same crappy lesson almost all of them do. Maybe have a conversation with her. You never know what kind of BS her father was whispering in her ear to make it feel like loving you was betraying him. Unfortunately, your kids don't have the lived experience to know that it's important to rise above this crap and that it's messed up to teach someone a lesson in the middle of a birthday speech to their mother. That's not boundaries, my friend. That's punishment. Not the idiot. Even if she wants the bio dad's presence in her life, she doesn't have to cut you off so coldly. She even uninvited you from her wedding. She chose him over you, the father who took care of her when her bio dad didn't. I don't understand why people, she was an adult when she made the decision to cut off OP, I don't blame him in any way for not wanting to have anything to do with her anymore. She's just an entitled brat. Yep, actions have consequences. You can't just throw people away and expect them to be waiting when you decide to come back. It's not how life works. But she was your daughter for years. Maybe therapy could be an option for you guys. You're obviously not obligated, but maybe a conversation with her and your wife would be worth it, even to hopefully stop her randomly bursting into tears at family events. I woke up at 5 a.m. craving pancakes while on vacation with my in-laws. So I decided to quickly make myself and my son some, since we were the only ones awake beside my husband, who doesn't eat pancakes. Unfortunately, my sister-in-law's daughter, pre-tween, came downstairs just as my son was finishing up and started crying because there were no more pancakes for her. I did try to comfort her, but I had bad morning sickness after I ate and I was starting to feel sick, so I had to take her to her parents, who were still sleeping. Long story short, my sister-in-law was upset I only made pancakes for myself and my son when others in the house also needed to eat breakfast. She said I was selfish, and I should have known my niece would have wanted some too, so I could have made extra just in case. Am I the idiot? Short answer, yes, you are the idiot. You didn't have morning sickness while making the batter. You could have made enough for everyone. Only thinking of yourself is selfish. Being a mother, if your child woke up early and went downstairs only to be told, "Too bad, I didn't make any for you," and sent your child back to you with no breakfast, you'd be angry too. Especially when traveling and on vacation with family. That was just straight up rude. Agree. My question is, how did you manage to only make pancakes for 2 people? Whenever I make them, I easily feed 6 kids. I totally get that you and your son were the only ones awake, but you're spending holidays with another family that has a child. It's the same as baking a cake for 2 people instead of for the group and then wondering why the group isn't stoked about it. You've invested their nostrils with the delicious smell of pancakes and served them disappointment for breakfast. Also, your cooking probably woke the niece up and then you decided to only cook for you and your son. When the little girl cried because you woke her up and ate all the food, you then woke up her parents at probably 5:30 a.m. on vacation. Common courtesy will take you far. Seriously? Nobody in my house is up for the day before 8:30. If I woke up at 5 and made a couple of pancakes, it would be on the same level as making a midnight snack. Imagine someone waking up and getting angry you didn't prepare them a plate of olives and cheese. And OP is pregnant? Got morning sickness and was going right back to bed? How the heck is she an idiot here? Not to mention I make pancakes from a box, just add water, so it's very easy to make a tiny batch of batter for only my brother and me. I do it all the time. Not the idiot. I'm shocked another mother got upset at a pregnant mom who got up, made pancakes for her and those that were awake at the time, and then got too sick with morning sickness to make more before her own daughter could get any. That seems pretty selfish. I'm sorry she made you feel guilty. That's a reflection of her character flaws, not yours. Yeah, screw all these commenters imposing new information onto the situation. You knew the others would want pancakes. Who only makes pancakes for themselves? Bro, the information OP had at the time was, my family is awake and my family is hungry. So she fed them. So how do you know the others aren't on a keto diet? How do you know they aren't celiac? How do you know the others don't already have breakfast plans that pancakes beforehand would ruin? You don't, and neither did OP, so she worked with the information she had. Some of these comments are dripping with so much righteousness that people are slipping over themselves to add enough new details to justify calling OP an idiot. You all should be ashamed of yourselves. My 21 male sister and a boyfriend, both 19, have 2 children. Yeah, so they got pregnant with the first and she decided to keep it. Parents weren't happy but agreed to help if they stepped up, which they mostly have. They both worked full-time despite finishing high school. He did at first. She started a few months after having my niece and did so barely, but what do you expect? The rule always was that my parents would help where they could so long as they both worked as much as possible and handled my niece whenever they were at home. Well, about a year ago, my sister got pregnant again at 18, and again, for whatever reason that isn't my business, she decided to keep it. Boyfriend's parents disowned him after they found out about number 2. Again, my parents were angry, but they were very kind to let boyfriend move in, on the condition that now, having graduated, he worked as much as he could and still helped with the kids in his free time. He's a good dad considering, despite working 3 part-time jobs, he's still taking a few online college courses and helping as much as he can with my niece and nephew. My sister still worked 1 part-time job and took courses while pregnant, but she had to quit the job as the second pregnancy was complicated. Nephew is now an infant and she's back to work part-time again. Now, obviously, neither of them has really had a social life since my sister got pregnant with my niece, She in particular is very isolated, and we thought she had PPD, but the doctors don't think so. She's just unsurprisingly strung out. So their only real hope at this point is that once either of them gets a degree and the nibblings are old enough to start regular school, they'll be able to ease up somewhat, but that's still years away. My sister has always asked me to help with childcare, not so she can party, I grant her, but so she can have a break. My parents don't expect me to since I pay rent and go to school. I told her when she asked again, "Look, I'm not mad, but you decided to have 2 kids before you were 20. It's not my fault you did that." So we don't really talk anymore despite living together. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She has a partner and both of your parents support. If she needs to ask a 4th person for help, she must understand she clearly wasn't ready for this and it's not your responsibility. The first kid could have been an accident, but the second is apparently not. They're either too stupid to use protection or too stupid to calmly assess their situation. In any case, you don't owe them any childcare. You are the idiot for your delivery and how you talk about your sister, not for refusing to babysit, which is fair enough, but for explicitly making that choice about judging your sister and making it clear that you don't have any sympathy for her. Even people with very planned children at more stable times get strung out and overwhelmed and ask for help to have breaks. It's not your responsibility to offer childcare to your sister, but it's also not your responsibility to teach her the error of her ways. Kindness and empathy towards a sibling would take no effort on your part here. A simple, "I'm sorry you're feeling stressed, but I don't want to set a precedent that I'll watch your kids because I'm not comfortable with that. Have you tried XYZ?" would have been the right way to go.